Rachel Gunn, aka Raygun, is back in the news because she's the subject of a soon-to-be-released Netflix documentary. She's famous for representing Australia in the 2024 Paris Olympics as a breakdancer. Not only was her performance significantly below the standards of her breaking competitors, but her kangaroo hops and unsettled sidewinding made her the biggest meme of the year, to the point where ordinary people weren't aware of who won gold for breaking, but they heard of Raygun doing silly moves on the Olympic stage and losing all of her battles. As a musician, I have a few comments to make on the situation, particularly in light of comments Raygun has made about how the public reacted to her performance at the Olympics. Whether you're a musician or a dancer or an actor, you start at a beginner level, and with practice, hard work, and consistency, you improve your skills. And we all have peaks and falls in our performance. I've certainly experienced those as a cellist. So has Raygun as a breaker, I'm sure. And at this point, Raygun has been breaking for about a decade now, so she has experience. What her experience did not prepare her for was the fact that the moment she stepped onto the Olympic stage, she was up against B-girls who had enormous talent. What I'm getting at is, yes, she has breaking experience in her own right, but that experience didn't make her dance better than her competitors, all of whom had started breaking at a very young age. This is typical of world-class musicians and dancers because childhood and adolescence are the best times to develop and refine your technique. And yes, Raygun did win a lot of competitions in Australia, but from what I've heard, the breaking community in Australia is very, very small. So Raygun would have been a very big fish in a small pond in Australia. But internationally, she is a very small fish in a huge pond in the breaking scene. In her post-Olympics interviews, Raygun often commented that people don't understand breaking, being the reason why there was such a visceral reaction to her unusual performance. She is right that there are people who don't understand breaking, who would leave nasty or flippant comments, but other professional breakers have weighed in criticizing Raygun's technique. A common criticism is that her moves were very basic, not including the kangaroo hops, and that they didn't reflect the athleticism that we typically see in world-class breaking. Another comment she often makes is that people reacted to the brief, seconds-long clips of her dancing which are taken out of context of her whole performance. As a non-dancer, I actually watched all of Raygun's full Olympic battles on YouTube, and the difference between Raygun's breaking and her competitors' breaking is like a chasm. Nika, who went on to win silver, was spinning on her wrists and fingers, while Raygun could barely spin on her head. Finally, I think it's telling that in one interview she gave, Raygun was asked if she thought she was the best breakdancer, to which her response was that her record speaks for itself. Raygun was, of course, referring to the titles and competitions she had won prior to the Olympics. I thought that was a weird answer, given that she competed against these phenomenal breakers in the Olympics. While I'm confident in my ability as a cellist, I know for a fact that I am not the best cellist. I've met so many amazing cellists who are amazing performers who are also way younger than me. It doesn't matter that I have a lot of experience. I'm just nowhere near as good as other cellists who win competitions and make long careers as musicians. So I think in Raygun's case, she thinks she's an awesome breakdancer because she's won all these competitions. But winning a certain number of competitions doesn't mean that you're the best breakdancer in the world. I thought the best answer Raygun could have given in that interview was no. I would have said no, because I know I'm not the best cellist. Raygun surely knows that she's not the best breakdancer, so why didn't she say no? I wanted to add here that I know that Raygun sent legal threats to a female comedian who wrote a musical about her. Parodying famous people in musicals has been a thing for centuries. The Gilbert and Sullivan operas made fun of politicians, and both the lyrics and dialogue to this day are often changed to suit current events and stories. Raygun, being a former arts and media lecturer, should have known that, and maybe she did, but she still attempted to close the musical, whose profits were going to be donated to a women's shelter. Let that sink in. So while Raygun did receive unwarranted harassment, at the same time, she's not listening to genuine criticism of her Olympic performance. I, as a non-breaker, could plainly see that her breaking abilities were nowhere near those of her opponents. I believe that she worked hard prior to the Olympics and tried her best, but in this case, her best wasn't good enough. And Raygun isn't listening to the people who are telling that to her.